All right, Shalom. This is Harwan Banyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. Want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Harakar Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. And Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and the truth around the four corners of the earth. Now, this right here, what you're looking at, is actually a depiction or a icon of King David. All right. Now, this is a depiction that was painted. Now, I'm just read the bottom part. It says King David, right? King David with his musicians from the Bristol Psalter, Greece, circa 1000 AD, man. So this was painted around 1000. The word circa just means approximately or around. So that's when this was painted, around that time. So they were familiar during the Byzantine Empire that the Israelites were dark skinned, you know. So, but anyway, I just wanted to kind of just just kind of read a couple scriptures about the musicians and the psalmist, you know, and because King David, Malak Dawad, Malak means king, Dawad means agape or love feast, right? King David was a man after the Lord's own heart, you know, I mean, in order and in meekness, right, righteousness. Now, King David would play the lyre, right? And you have a lot of Edomites saying that he was a white man or a red man. I'm gonna do a lesson on that in a minute too, with the word ruddy. But right here, man, you see he had dark brown skin, a complexion, right? Now, what you would call ruddy, all right? Now, it's funny because you see right here, you got one brother here with this is right here is what you hear in the background. That's called a lyre. All right, and you can go online and you can find something called a lyre, Lyre, and that's what King David liked to play. And that's how it sounded during those times, man. All right, and you had the other guy here with the harp. King David liked to play the harp. And what they would do is they would write songs out. Now, I don't know if this is a book or a drum, you know, because this could be the chief musician, Asaph, right here, whoever that is. But he had the violin, so it was like a choir. All right, and what they would do is, if this is Asaph, one of them is Asaph, one of the chief musicians. King David would write psalms, meaning he would write them in different categories, like wisdom. He had some dealing with war, some dealing with praise, some dealing with lamenting, like crying out. He categorized all his songs or psalms, which was basically messages, you know, because songs are poems. Let me get to watch this. All right, this is the etymology of the word psalm. That's crazy because look, it says, let me go to this one. A psalm. Check this out. It says from Greek, psalmos, which means a song sung to harp music. Ain't that something? So that's what a psalm is. You know, it's a song that was sung to harp music. Now let's see what a song is. All right. So once you pull it to melody, and the melody that they love to use was the lyre or the harp. It says to pluck. All right. And that's what it's like a string group, you know, string instruments. It's crazy, man. And that's what King David was. He would play the harp so good he could make spirits come off a person, wicked spirits, like he did with Saul. King David would play the harp so beautifully, he would sing beautifully. You know. Um, all right, now this is the word song. All right, here you go. It says a poem, especially one in rhymed stanzas. All right, so that's what a song is. A song is basically just, all right, and the word song just comes from the word sang, or, um, um, it says what? Art of singing, metrical composition to compose, adapted for singing, psalm, or poem. All right, so they were psalmists. It would take poetry. Now let's see what poetry is. All right, so the word poem just means a thing made or created. So it's basically literary work, that's composed into a rhyming form or a format, or check this out. All right, I'm gonna just read this quick part. I'm gonna bounce around a little bit just to hit some points. Now, the way King David would write the poems or to write his messages in song form, you know, you had different psalmists or writers or scribes that would come and write songs as well, and they would bring them to King David, and he would approve them and then hand them to the chief musicians, or he would write a song in the spirit and give it to the chief musicians. And what it would be called, didactic poems, didactic poetry, and that's what one of these words stand for. Let me get that real quick. All right, and this is didactic poetry. It says poetry that instructs. See, he gave instructions through his poetry. All right, just like when you read the Psalms, you get wisdom. Right, you get instructions from Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Poetry that instructs either in terms of morals or by providing knowledge of philosophy, which is the study of wisdom, religion, meaning at that time, religiously, meaning like our customs, arts, science, or skills. Although some poets believe that all poetry is inherently instructional, didactic poetry separately refers to poems that contain a clear moral or message or purpose to convey to its readers. So it has a clear. So all poetry is instructive. That's why you gotta be careful listening to rap music, because it instructs the spirit or the subconscious to be negative, to be wicked, all right, to just be angry and shit, or depressed when you listen to that type of music. All right, because it's words that they put to a melody, to a rhythm, to a beat, to a vibration. And that's what we teach today in melody and harmony. We coming into unity of the faith, and of the doctrine. See that? And we teach in harmony in the same spirit. All right, because we're singers, I actually really do sing. And I've been singing since I was 17, or probably younger than that. I learned to sing in the subways of Philadelphia from the homeless people. They used to teach me how to sing. And I used to be a soul singer. That's what they call me, the soul of South Philly. So I know that I understand. I only sing to the Most High. I don't do a lot of songs or anything like that. But yeah. Anyway, so today we sing the spiritual song for those that don't have melody of the voice, but we sing together, meaning in harmony of this truth. All right, sending out the vibrations like a trumpet. And we're the only ones that are able to learn this song. Yahweh Ratazah, we're of the 144,000 and the 1/3. This is Revelations 14 and 13. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, And that lamb is Yahushua when he arrives, so-called black man. And with him, 144,000. So we're going to, Yahweh Ratazah, if you're in that number, you'll be with Yahushua. Having his father's name written in their foreheads, meaning in your minds. It's going to be engraved in your mind. See? It says what? To grave, especially to write, right? Because our minds are like the paper for Yahushua, the bearer of the inkhorn, right? The writer of our salvation, the writer of his own salvation, right? So our minds are like the paper, you know, and he said, write these words on the table of your mind, you know, and that's where the Lord's name is at, in our minds, right? And it says in their foreheads, and it's basically talking about in your mind, you know, in the frontal lobe is where memory is stored at, like names and things like that. And I heard a voice from heaven. You have memory in the back of your head, which would be like your cerebellum. I just want to be clear on that. But a lot of the names and phone numbers and stuff like that is stored in the frontal lobe. All right. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of the harpers harping with their harps. Wow, man. See, they got harps out there in the heavens, man. And and the hopeful elect are going to have harps. You're going to be singing, we're going to be screaming and crying out and yelling. That's what it means to sing. All right. And today we're singing, you know, by teaching. The tabernacle of King David, the choir of King David. And King David going to be in the midst. And he could be among us now or in the heavens. All right. But he's around. And he's going to be on the firmament with the hopeful elect, probably leading the choir, you know, singing songs, you know. It says, and I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And let me see what harps is. All right, this is harps. It says a harp to which praises of Yahweh are sung in heaven. Wow, man. It says right here, there you go, a lyre. So the Most High likes the lyres, man. Right? And the lyre is a beautiful instrument. It says, and they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the four beasts, man. So, and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. So we're the only ones that's able to learn this song of Moses, or the song of the truth. The true song. Let me get this right here. Song. It says what? To chant. All right. Or ode. The general term for any words sung, while denotes especially a religious metrical composition, and still more specifically a Hebrew cantillation. Wow, man. So basically a didactic poem or instructions, all right, words that we speak out today. Because if somebody gives you a paper or a Bible, it's basically a song, something written and created, a poem that's created and written or engraved into paper, a voice that's engraved in the paper, you know, because it comes from the voice somebody speaks or from their thoughts, and they put it on paper, and then somebody else speaks it. We become that person's voice. You see that? All right. So we're singing today, all right, before the throne, as we've always done. All right, now this is when King David was establishing his choir and the singers the praise group that was going to be praising around the altar day and night, as we do today. All right. Psalms 39:1 to the chief musician. So he had chief musicians set up. All right, and through the Spirit. It said even to Jeduthun, which would be like Yahweh. Why not? It says Yada ha no Yada wa the one. All right. So it says what? Praising. So he was set up as the chief. His name, he lived out his name as a praise, the chief of praise. All right. It says to the chief musician, you know, and a musician is what? Basically a string player at that time, or a composer. Today, what we would call a person. It says to glitter, it means natazaka, right? Natazak. It says to glitter from afar, man. It's crazy, man. Making beautiful melodies like a heart, like a prism, or what you would call the lyre would be the prism, and the sound, the beautiful sounds and melody and harmony would be the actual spectrum of colors. And that's how I see music, and that's how I see songs or notes in my mind, you know, with singing. I can see it as colors. I used to tell people that all the time. I see it in colors, and I could put the colors in order, and it'll make melody, you know, like Kal halal yam Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Kal halal yam Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you know, something like that. That's melody, that's harmony, that's you know, color. Now it says to excel, to be bright, to be preeminent, be perpetual, be overseer, be enduring. So that's a musician, all right? Somebody that's in tune with the music, or with their instrument, or with their voice, or things like that. All right. It says a psalm is a psalm of David. All right. So we know what a psalm is. It's what? Instrumental music, a poem set to notes. A poem set to notes, man. All right. It says Mazah Mawar, which would be a psalm or poem. Mazah Mawar. All right. And that's a poem, which would be words. We know that now. Or instructions set to notes, man. All right. To notes, the melody. All right. So King David would write psalms or sing them himself, and his crew, they would construct it or compose it into melody. All right. Transition it into actual melody or tempo and sound, you know, put it on certain instruments, or vice versa. They would write the songs, and, you know, they were basically like a choir. But King David, we know he was a warrior, man. All right. So that's just the beauty of our people. Now this is 1 Chronicles 16:7. Now this is when King David was establishing the choir. I'm gonna just get into it. And he had one of his chief musicians that was named Asaph. And if you read a lot of Psalms in the Bible, Asaph wrote a lot of those Psalms, you know. All right, you have right here, this is the list of psalmists, all right, meaning composers. You had David, which was the lead. It says Israel's greatest king, musician, Messiah. So he was anointed. Psalm of David may be written for David or in his style. Designed the temple. Of course, he designed the temple, but I think King David was ruling from 1010 BC all the way till think about 970 BC, and then you had King Solomon, his son. He ruled from 970. And King Solomon is Yahushua. He ruled from 970 to 931, and the temple was built in 955 BC. All right, so the Lord gave that anointing to King Solomon to build the temple, because Yahushua was set up to build the temple through the Spirit in dedication to King David today. That's why he had to work in that process for everybody to live out their order upon earth. All right. So it says King David, he wrote 73 Psalms. And Solomon wrote more than that, I think. I think he wrote like 1,000, man. He wrote a lot of Psalms, man. You know, and just, all right. Now this right here tells you how many proverbs and songs that King Solomon wrote. Yahushua, man. So he's a composer. This is our king in the heavens, man. Yahushua. All right. That's why I said he sang with us. You know, he sang with the disciples in the valley of Gethsemane before he went up on the mountain and prayed to Yahweh when Peter and them fell asleep. And he said, could you not watch with me 1 hour? And that's symbolic of today, saying, yo, you can't watch with him just for this season, this small period. You can't stay awake. You're going to go back into the world, go back to sleep. But right before that, he was singing with us, man. And the scripture said he's going to sing with us when he sees us. All right, when he sees us and he's with us, he's going to be singing, man. All right. And he tells us to sing with a song in our heart today. I'm not going to get all these scriptures, but I'm just speaking them to you, you know, straightforward. First Kings 4:32. It says, and he spake 3,000 proverbs. 3,000. So that's how many proverbs. Let's see what a proverb is. Like a dark saying or a mystery or a parable or metaphors. Excuse me. It says a proverb, a parable, a similitude, a poem. Oh, there you go. Sentences of ethical wisdom, ethical maxims. Wow. So, you know, our standards, our morals. That's what ethics means, your moral value, you know, your standards. So he was speaking wisdom to the people, and his songs were 1,005. So his straight words were 3,000, and his songs that he put to melody was 1,005, man. So that's like Jay-Z or somebody have a bunch of songs, they have 1,005 songs. That's what King David and King Solomon did, man. All right. All right, this is First Chronicles 16:2. And when David had made an end of offering the burnt offerings and the peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yahweh. And he dealt to every one of Israel, both man and woman, to every one a loaf of bread and a good piece of flesh and a flagon of wine. And he appointed certain of the Levites to minister before the ark of Yahweh, and to record. And how you record, meaning chronologize, meaning wrote it down. All right, wrote down everything, or to remember, take to note in mind, you know, because you don't have to write everything down. You can memorize everything. But the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning today, that we, through faith and hope, you know, might have hope to salvation, not verbatim. So that's why they were written. All right. So it says what? And to record and to thank and praise Yahweh, the power of Israel. And he said what? He set up Asaph, the chief. There go Asaph, right? That's the one that was doing a lot of the writing. It says how many? Let me get this again. All right. Now you have Asaph. He wrote. It says David's worship leader. He wrote 12 of them. All right. Plus his sons. He had his descendants, and that's what they took care of them later on down the line. All right. Even all the way up to the time of the Roman Empire, you had descendants of Asaph that were around, and descendants of the core ancient Israelites, or descendants of Aaron. Now you had Korah. It says a major Levite family. All right, and these all their sons. They would write a lot of psalms and were composers. And you had the orphans. All right, it says no designated psalmist, possibly from tradition or from the scribes who crafted the book. All right, you see that? They wrote 50 of them. So you had scribes that would show up that knew the law, right? That's what a scribe was, somebody that would do writing. They would show up to different cities, and the Lord would send them out. And say, for instance, a certain city were in a Gentile state of mind, or they didn't have the law, but they believed, the Lord would send them that person there, and that person, once they're in that city, just like today, you would write it out, write everything out, just like the book of Eli. When he got to his destination, they wrote everything out from his mind. All right, that's what the scribes would do, and that was the purpose of a scribe. It was intent in knowing the scriptures and the law. Now it says Asaph, and he's very important to remember when you're reading the scriptures and Psalms, because he was one of David's close men. And mind you, you had David's mighty men as well, man, on the war level. It's crazy, right? It's crazy, man. It says minor contributors: Solomon, Moses, Ethan, Heman. All right. So Moses, you had the Song of Moses, of course, which was King David. All right. So now let's get into the story about, or just some scriptures about the composers. All right. First Chronicles 16:7. All right. This is when David made an end of offering. It says, verse 3. And actually, I was on 4. And he appointed certain of the Levites to minister before the ark of Yahweh, and to record and to thank and praise the power of Yahweh, the power of Israel. Asaph, the chief, next to him, Zechariah, Jael, and Shemiramoth. These some beautiful names, man. If you have children, you want to name your children some Hebrew names, you can find names like this and translate them into the Proto-Hebrew, or what you call Paleo-Hebrew, or ancient Hebrew, Lashawan Kodash. You translate it into that, and you can find you a name, or a brother comes into the truth. You can dig through names like this, Jahael, Mathithiah, Eliab, Benaiah, and Obed Edom, okay? And Jael with psalteries and with harps. Let's see what a psaltery is. Here we go. All right. And it says what? A skin bag for liquids, a vase, a lyre. All right. So it was basically a guitar. That's what we saw. You had the harp, and you had the brother with looked like a violin, Then you had the other brother that had the lyre in his hand. So he said in harps. But Asaph made a sound with cymbals. All right, so that could have been a drum that one brother had, and next to King David. So with cymbals. So you had a whole band. It's beautiful, man. It's crazy. It says double tinklers. All right. It's crazy, man. And that's a beautiful sound, man. The harp. So It says, Benaiah also and Jahaziel, the priest, with trumpets. Wow, they had trumpets too. Continually before the ark of the covenant of Yahweh. Then on that day, David delivered first this psalm. See the instructions, man. Or a didactic poem which had wisdom in it. To thank Yahweh into the hand of Asaph and his brethren. You know? So that's when King David was setting up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read this. It said, give thanks unto Yahweh, call upon him his name. And they were singing this. Make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him, sing psalms unto him. Talk ye of all his wondrous works. Glory ye in his holy name. Right? If you're doing music, that's really what you're supposed to be doing music for, you know, singing or poetry, you know. Of course, you're going to have your basic everyday life type of poetry to instruct people, you know. But like these people today, they write raps. I ain't about to go. They call it mumble rap. That was like called Babylon music, confusion music. All right, took our people back to being cavemen, because Israel, Esau, the original caveman, and now they got a lot of Jake grunting like cavemen. You know, you know, that's grunting, man. Crazy. Now, so I'm gonna get to the point. I'm gonna just do a little bit of reading on this. This is First Chronicles 16:37, and it says so he left there before the ark of the covenant of Yahweh Asaph and his brethren, to minister before the ark continually, as every day's work required. And that's what we do, man. We represent Asaph and the chief musicians today, being the memorial stones or the first fruits unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, to give him praise. And we minister before his throne day and night, all right, every day, all right, edifying each other daily, all right. All right. Hebrews 3:13. But exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. You know, so being organic is what keeps you in the truth, keeps you alive. It's like fluid, like a river flowing. And if it stays stagnant, it gets polluted. You know, a polluted river nobody can drink from. They'll get poisoned. All right. So, all right, this is First Chronicles 16:37. It says, so he left there before the ark of the covenant of Yahweh Asaph and his brethren, to minister before the ark continually, as every day's work required. All right, and it says, and Obed Edom with their brethren, 68. Obed Edom also the son of Jeduthun and Hosa, to be porters, all right? And Zadok, the priest, and his brethren, the priest, before the tabernacle of Yahweh in the high places that was at Gibeon. And so on and so on, man. So they were playing what? Cymbals. You see right here. All right, they had cymbals and trumpets. Okay. All right. All right, this is First Chronicles 15:3. And David gathered all Israel together to Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of Yahweh unto his people, which he had prepared for it. And David assembled the children of Aaron and the Levites of the sons of Kohath. See, that was the sons of Levi. That's when they were really paying homage. So like I said earlier, it was during the time of Greece. With a lot of the Levites, they came over here to the Americas, all right? But let me say, you know, so during that time, you still had descendants of Aaron that everybody would pay respect to. All right. And David assembled the children of Aaron and the Levites. Of the sons of Kohath, Uriel the chief and his brethren 120. And of the sons of Merari, Asaiah the chief and his brethren 220. And of the sons of Gershom, Joel the chief and his brethren 130. And so on and so on. I'm going to skip down. All right. And of the sons of Uzziel, Aminadab the chief and his brethren 112. And David called for Zadok and Abiathar the priest, and for the Levites, for Uriel, Asaiah, and Joel, and Shemaiah, and Eliel, and Aminadab, and said unto them, Ye are the chief of the fathers of the Levites. Sanctify yourselves, both ye and your brethren, that ye may bring up the ark of Yahweh, power of Israel, unto the place that I have prepared for it, man. So he wanted to bring it up from Kirjath Jearim to the city of David, all right, to his home, to the temple, so they can prepare a temple for it. It says, for because ye did it not at the first, Yahweh, our power made a breach upon us, for that we sought him not after the due order. So the priests and the Levites sanctified themselves to bring up the ark of Yahweh, power of Israel. And the children of the Levites bear the ark upon their shoulders with the staves thereon, as Moses commanded, according to the word of Yahweh, right? Because nobody was supposed to touch the altar except for the certain priest, the high priest, a certain priest. And David spake to the chief of the Levites to appoint their brethren to be the singers, right, with instruments of music. So that's why I wanted to get into this, because this is when he truly appointed them again as the ones that were going to sing upon instruments with music. All right, being what? Composers. All right. It says psalteries and harps and cymbals sounding by lifting up the voice with joy. And that's how it's going to sound again in the kingdom, man. All right. So these are the people he set up, man. And it says, so the Levites appointed Haman, the son of Joel, and his brethren Asaph, the son of Berechiah, and the sons of Merari, their brethren, Ethan, the son of Cushaiah, and with them their brethren of the second degree, Zechariah, Ben. There's a lot of names, so I'm going to put you to sleep, so I'm going to skip down, man. So basically the singers, so he had singers, Haman, Asaph, so he was singing and on the cymbals. So the singers were Haman, Asaph, and Ethan were appointed to sound with cymbals of brass. Okay, so he wasn't, he was a singer, and he also had brass cymbals. All right, like an orchestra, man. You had the psalteries, and then you had, it says with harps on the sheminith to excel. So they had harps. All right, and it says and Kenaniah, chief of the Levites, was for song. He instructed about the song because he was skillful. So he was like a choir director or a writer. All right, what you call a ghost writer. All right. So he had the whole thing put together, man. So I ain't gonna get into too much of that story. You can read about that story where King David brought up the Ark of the Covenant out from Obed Edom, and when it fell, and then Uzziah tried to catch it, and as soon as he caught it, he died. So King David was like, he asked the Lord, like, how am I gonna get the Ark of the Covenant brought to me to the city of David if they're gonna die if they touch it? That's why they're supposed to bear it upon staves and staves. But then the Lord blessed Obed Edom, and he blessed all his house, and later on King David brought the ark up to city of David. So this was the point that he had composers, all right? And this is a true depiction of what King David looked like. And he wasn't an Edomite. And, you see, he got a bracelet on his hand, a ring, got the Bible, right? And you got all your composers with the harps, the cymbals, or the trumpet right there, like a trumpet he got in the middle. You got the lyre, you got the harp, you got the psaltery probably right here, the violin, and you got the drums. They look like cymbals. You got King David with that glow around his head, man. I mean, he was anointed one. This is Colossians 3:10. Let the word of Yahweh dwell in you richly, in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and in hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. And whatsoever ye do, in word or deed, do all in the name of Yahushai, giving thanks to Yahweh and the Father by him. So if you're writing songs and singing, you give thanks to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. Matter of fact, yeah, Psalms 149:5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. So be joyful in the spirit until we reach glory, the kingdom. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. And this is in the kingdom, man. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth and the two-edged sword in their hand. So that's the singing. And that's the melody. It's like a song or a harmony in your spirit, man. You can feel it. All right. And we move to the same beat, to the same tune. All right, this is Isaiah 58:1. It says, cry aloud. And that's why you see people out there with the microphones and shit like that. You got to be careful with those groups. They usually be the ones with edge ups or something just be off, man. It just ain't right. It's different when you're out there lifting up your voice. The cops can't really mess with you because you're not louder than the traffic around you. If you're in a park, they probably can mess with you. But, yeah, it says, cry aloud, spare not. So don't spare anybody's feelings. Lift up thy voice. Of course, you don't want to be out there disrespecting people. You a bitch. You a nigga. You want to just teach, man. Do the will of the Father. Say, thus saith Yahweh. Right? Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. So our voice has become the trumpet. And the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. He has blessed us to take his word and to speak his words. That, from his voice prior, which would be the disciples and apostles and prophets. Spoken from the beginning, man. All right. Spoken into our hearts, written upon the table of our minds, where he has written these songs. It says, lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgressions, in the house of Jacob their sins.